By the end of this video, you'll know exactly whose opinions actually matter and whose you can completely ignore. You'll discover the framework that stops you from giving away your power to people who don't even deserve it. And I'll show you the simple exercise that helps you choose your own tribe instead of desperately seeking approval from everyone around you. But first, let me ask you something that might make you a little uncomfortable. Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nidhi Kapoor. And I've got a special gift for you. In the description box below, you'll find a link to download my free guide to help you live your best life. Now, let's get on with today's video. Imagine this. You walk into a room and everyone suddenly stops talking. That instant wave of panic that hits you, that feeling like your stomach just dropped. Do you feel that? That's your prison guard talking. And here's the thing. You built this prison without even knowing it. You see, your brain is literally wired to fear social rejection. We're talking about programming that goes back thousands of years. Back then, getting kicked out of your tribe meant death. No food, no protection, no survival. So, your ancestors who cared deeply about what others thought, they lived. The ones who didn't, they didn't make it long enough to pass on their genes. But here's the uncomfortable truth that most people never realize. You're not actually afraid of what people think. You're afraid of losing control and safety. Think about Sarah, who's been stuck in the same soul-crushing accounting job for 7 years. She dreams about starting her own bakery, but she stays put because leaving might disappoint her parents. They sacrificed so much for her education, right? So she shows up every day, slowly dying inside because the fear of their disappointment feels more dangerous than wasting her entire life. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between a real threat and social embarrassment. When someone might judge you, your body responds like a saber-toothed tiger is charging at you. Heart racing, palms sweating, mind going blank. Your ancient brain screams danger, even though the worst thing that can happen is someone thinks less of you. You see, this creates a feedback loop that's absolutely toxic. The more you depend on others' approval, the more you need it for even basic decisions. What should I wear? What should I say? Which path should I take? You start outsourcing your choices to people who don't even know what's best for you. And here's the real cost nobody talks about. This dependency slowly erases your authentic self. You become so focused on being what others want that you lose track of what you actually want. You wake up one day and realize you don't even know your own preferences anymore. Your dreams got buried under layers of other people's expectations. But here's what's wild about this whole thing. This prison that you're living in, it has an invisible door that's been unlocked the whole time. You see, recognizing this evolutionary programming is the first step to breaking free from its control. Once you understand that your fear response is just an outdated security system, you can start making different choices. But knowing about your prison isn't enough. You need to understand why you keep choosing to stay inside. Let me ask you something. How many hours did you spend this week replaying conversations in your head? How much time did you waste imagining what people might think about your outfit, your post, or that thing you said? I bet it's way more than you want to admit. Here's what's really happening. Worrying about opinions is like having a phone app running in the background, constantly draining your battery. You might not notice it at first, but by the end of the day, you're completely exhausted. You see, your mental energy got sucked away by thoughts that don't even matter. Most people make a shocking choice without realizing it. They prioritize avoiding discomfort over pursuing their biggest dreams. Think about it for a second. You'd rather stay safe from potential judgment than go after what you actually want. It's like being a gardener who spends all day protecting plants from wind instead of helping them grow strong roots. The plants stay weak because they never learn how to handle real weather. Your brain pulls a sneaky trick on you too. It makes you think that avoiding judgment is productive work towards your goals. You tell yourself, I'm just being smart, planning ahead, thinking through all the angles. But really, you're just procrastinating with extra steps. You feel busy and strategic when actually all you're doing is just standing still. This creates a false sense of safety that backfires completely. You think you're protecting yourself, but you're actually making yourself more vulnerable to criticism. People can smell insecurity from a mile away. When you worry constantly about what others think, you signal that you don't trust your own choices. And guess what happens? People start questioning your choices too. Let me tell you the pattern nobody talks about. The people who worry most about opinions often attract the most judgment. It's like wearing a sign that says, please criticize me. Your anxiety becomes a magnet for exactly what you're trying to avoid. But here's where it gets interesting. All that mental energy you're wasting can actually be redirected into something that makes others' opinion completely irrelevant. You see, when you're busy building something meaningful, something that matters to you, you naturally stop having mental space for everyone else's thoughts. Your brain can only focus on so many things at once. When you pour your energy into creating, learning, and growing, there's no room left for worrying about Janet from accounting or your high school classmate on social media. You just become too busy living your actual life to stress about their imaginary opinions. This brings us to a crucial choice you need to make about whose voice deserves space in your head. Choosing your jury versus letting random people judge you. Let me explain. Would you let a stranger on the street choose your outfit for the day? Of course not, right? So why would you let random people choose your life direction? You see, here's the empowering truth nobody tells you. You get to handpick whose opinions actually matter in your life. Most people accidentally give veto power over their decisions to the least qualified judges. Picture Mike, a talented graphic designer who dreams of freelancing. He's got the skills, the portfolio, and even some potential clients lined up. But when his neighbor, let's call him Bob, mentions that freelancing is too risky and most people fail, Bob works in insurance and he's never created anything in his life. Yet Mike scraps his entire plan because of one comment from someone who's never built anything themselves. See what I mean? Here's a simple filter that changes everything. Ask yourself 3 questions about the person giving you advice. Number 1, does this person love you? Number 2, do they actually know you? And number 3, do they want the best for you? If the answer to any of these is no, then their opinion doesn't qualify. It's literally that straightforward. Now, social media makes this problem worse. It amplifies the voices of people who should matter least, strangers and critics. You post something meaningful and 20 people you barely know leave their comments. Their opinions feel huge because they're loud and immediate. But think about it. These are people who don't know your struggles, your goals, or your values. On the flip side, people who truly care about you will support your growth, even when they don't understand your choices. Your mom might worry about when you quit your corporate job, but guess what? She'll still cheer you on. Your best friend might not get why you're learning Italian, but they'll ask about your progress. Real love shows up as support, not sabotage. You need to get comfortable with being disliked by some people for the things that matter most to you. You see, when you stand for something real, when you chase dreams that scare you, some people won't like it. They might call you crazy, unrealistic, or selfish. And that's actually a good sign. It means you're living your life instead of theirs. So I've got a little homework for you. Write down 3 to 5 people whose opinions you genuinely value. These are your chosen jury members. Everyone else gets mentally dismissed. When someone outside this group shares their thoughts about your choices, practice letting it bounce right off you. Their voices don't get a vote in your life. Now that you know whose voices to listen to, let's also talk about how to train yourself to respond differently when that old fear creeps in. Fear of judgment is like a smoke alarm that goes off when you burn toast. It's technically working, but it's completely overreacting to the situation. The good news, your response to judgment fears can be trained just like any other skill. You can literally teach yourself to react differently. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. Running away from the fear makes it stronger. Facing it makes it weaker. Every time you avoid doing something because people might judge you, you're training your brain that judgment is actually dangerous. You're reinforcing the very fear you want to escape. Think about a lion tamer. They don't become comfortable around dangerous animals by avoiding them, do they? Rather, they build confidence through repeated controlled exposure. They start small, maybe just being in the same room as the lion. Then they get closer. Eventually, they're working directly with these powerful animals because they've trained their fear response. Now you need to find your own version of this training. There's something called the Goldilocks zone of stress. It's challenging enough to help you grow, but not so overwhelming that you completely shut down. If you're terrified of singing in front of others, you don't start with a packed auditorium. You sing in front of your mom first, then maybe your best friend, then a small group of people you trust. But each time you act despite the fear, something amazing happens in your brain. You're literally rewiring your neural pathways to see judgment as less threatening. Your brain starts learning that criticism won't actually kill you. These new pathways get stronger every time you practice pushing through the discomfort. And here's the secret that successful people know. Most of them still feel the fear. They don't just let it make their decisions for them though. They feel the nervousness before giving a presentation, launching a business, or posting something personal online. But they do it anyway because they know the fear will pass. So, your assignment this week, should you choose to accept it, is simple. Identify one small action you can take despite potential judgment. Maybe it's posting that creative project you've been hiding. Maybe it's speaking in a meeting. Maybe it's wearing something that makes you feel confident but different. Pick something that scares you just enough to matter, but not so much that you'll panic. Building this judgment tolerance muscle transforms everything, and you go from being someone who avoids discomfort to someone who moves through it towards your goals. You stop asking, "What will people think?" and start asking, "What do I want to create?" And this brings us to the most important realization of all. Here's the thing that will blow your mind. The people whose opinion truly matters will respect you more when you stop seeking everyone's approval. Think about it. When you determine what you're willing to stand for and be disliked for, people often start to respect you more because they recognize your authenticity and conviction. So if you do nothing else, do this one simple thing this week. Pick one person whose positive opinion you genuinely value. Then choose one area where you'll completely ignore the fear of negative opinions. Maybe it's finally sharing that project or speaking up about something important to you. Remember, you've always had the power to choose whose voices get to influence your life. Now you know how to use it. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care.